Welcome back to Chronicles. We're still in Mark chapter 8. We're just going to go back a bit and reread a little section that we read yesterday because there's such a wonderful question in here. So we're looking at Mark chapter 8 and verse 27 to 30. Jesus and his disciples went on to the villages around Caesarea Philippi. On the way, he asked them, "Who do people say I am?" They replied, "Some say you're John the Baptist, others say Elijah, and still others one of the prophets." "But what about you?" he asked. "Who do you say I am?" Peter answered, "You are the Messiah." Jesus warned them not to tell anyone about him. Good questions, aren't they? You know, who do people say Jesus is?
Yeah, I mean, if you were to do a survey on the street today, you would get different answers, but you would get all kinds of answers, wouldn't you?
I mean, what are they there?
Well, people would say, so there's lots of Muslims who live in Kingston, and they would really want to stress their own affection for Jesus. That he's a prophet, and we love Jesus too, and he's a great teacher, and he's even going to return one day, and there would be that side of things. You would then have a more, perhaps just kind of cynical, atheistic view, which I mean, I don't think there are any actual sensible historians who deny that Jesus existed.
No, not anymore.
Not anymore. No. So they would have to say something like that. Well, he was a good teacher, and revolutionary of his time, a kind of Che Guevara. Upturning the system to bring liberation.
Like he was an alien that came from another planet. Yeah.
Okay.
Some of the Kingston University students said things like that. But there's all kinds of views, isn't there?
Yeah. And I think most people would just think of him as really a kind of irrelevance, wouldn't they, to modern life, and they would see him as a historical figure, but that would be it, really.
So he asked that general question about, but this is what I love about Jesus. He's not vague, is he? Mm. So I think the idea that you get of Jesus on, The Simpsons or any of those sort of programs is that he's like a hippie walking around, slightly in a trance, very vague, but Jesus isn't like that. He really goes for you. And he goes for this question. Okay, that's what people say, but what about you? Who do you say I am? And I love that question because I think it's worth asking, and it's worth asking you who are listening. Who do you say? Not who does Richard Dawkins say? Not who does Aunt Fanny say? Not who your RE teacher said? Whatever. I don't know who Aunt Fanny is. What's your intelligent, thought-through position of who Jesus is? And that's what we try to do as Christians, isn't it? Is to ask that question. Don't just come out with memes and slogans. Have a real serious investigation. Who do you genuinely think Jesus is?
Yeah. I mean, we've just come to the end of one of our Tales of the Unexpected courses. And it's just a great course because the conviction behind it is the best way to introduce people to Jesus is through the things that he taught. And one of the questions at the end of every session is, where are you in this story? Who are you in this story? What do you think about Jesus? Which category would you fall into? And it's trying to do the same thing, really. It's not allowing us just to comment politely on an interesting story. It's forcing us to do what Jesus does here and to actually come to a conclusion about who he is and how we should respond to him. And you can't give a politician's answer to this.
No.
So I was just thinking about that famous interview between Jeremy Paxman, and I can't remember who it was, where he asks him the same question 13 times. So did you threaten him, yes or no? Did you threaten him, yes or no? Did you threaten him, yes or no? And every time there's it depends who you mean by you, and it depends what you mean by threaten. And there's ways of kind of shirking it all the time, and most of us get pretty frustrated that politicians can't answer straight questions. But Jesus is not going to allow that. He's given some time to the general answers, but as you say, now he wants to confront these guys and say, "Come on, let's get to it.
Yeah,
who am I?"
Based on the evidence you've seen, based on the things that I've said, based on the things that I've done, who do you say I am? And we want to put that out, don't we? And we want to say that's the question: who is Jesus? Because if he's just a political revolutionary, we're really only interested in him for politics. And if he's just another good religious leader, well, you could have him, or
there's others to choose
from. But if he is the Son of the living God that has the words of eternal life, it makes a difference, doesn't it? So I think it was C.S. Lewis that had that very famous thing. He's either a liar, because he claims to be the Son of God, or he's a lunatic, on par with someone who says they've got a poached egg on their head. Or he is the Lord. Yeah. I mean, there is another one you can put there. He's just a sort of legend, a made-up sort of thing. So there the question is he a liar, lunatic, Lord, or legend? Is he the Lord? And of course, Peter says, weighed on the evidence I see, you're the Messiah, you're the Lord. Yeah.
And as we looked at last time, although he doesn't fully understand what that means, in other accounts of this, it does say, blessed are you, Simon. This was not revealed to you by flesh and blood, but by my Father in heaven. So that is a true conclusion. Because in our age, we would think that every answer could be right.
Yes.
Who do you say I am? Prophet, that's right. Who do you say I am? Messiah? Yes, that's right for you. That's right for you. That's right for you. But there is a correct answer to that question, isn't there?
Yes, because we're in the age even of, who do I say I am? I am whatever I say I am, which is sort of a nonsense, isn't it? But so here we are. We see that. I came to the conclusion, and you obviously did, that Jesus is the Messiah. He's the King, and he's the King of the universe, and therefore he knows better how I should live my life than I know how to live my life. And even though he may say some things that don't feel even natural to me, and feel a little, I'm in conflict with, then if he is the Messiah, King, I would be wise to listen to him rather than even myself.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if you if you acknowledge something like that, there is a life that must follow it. If it's a consistent claim. So if you acknowledge someone to be the ruling king of the universe, it follows that your life is going to go under his word. Whereas if you acknowledge him just to be a historical figure, well, so what? It doesn't actually make any purchase on my life, does it? Whereas if you acknowledge this, well, then everything changes.
That's a really very, very important point, because I think some people just don't want that. They want to have, Jesus is king, but it doesn't affect my life. And that's not the Christian life, is it? It really is to say, okay, you do know better, and even though it hurts me to listen to you, because I might have to change various aspects of my life, I am under you. So who do you say Jesus is?